Let's handle errors in the show method. Our endpoint accepts ID as a parameter. If we don't provide this parameter, the routing will send the request to the index method. We don't have to worry about that. So let's see what happens when we send an ID that does not exist. So open up your ShowCest file, so your ShowTest. We already have one method in here, or one test. Let's create another one. The name for this method can be, it will return 404 when record can't be found. Or cannot, that'll probably be better. Cool, so it'll take API tester and name that I. Cool, so now we're ready to write our test. In our assume section, all we need to do is just set some random ID. Now, people don't tend to do this. They try to do it just in the send get. I'm different, I guess. I just like it. I like my test a little bit clearer. So we're using the ID of 54. And then in the next step, we're going to take it and perform a get request. And in our assertion, what we're going to do is we need to assert against the error code that comes back. Because what we want to do is say our code failed and throw a specific error code. So let's run this test. This may take a while. As usual, it's the first time I'm running these tests or connecting to Vagrant today. Cool, so just instantiating. And remember, we should get a fail. So I'm betting you probably already know what we're going to do in our controller. We're going to handle the error. And to handle the error, all we need to do is just wrap everything in a try catch block. You can see right now it's 500, or it's showing a 500 error message. And that's because our code is completely failing. So let's go to our show method. In here, this is the code that we just need to wrap in a try block. So we can just do try, cut this code, and whoops, copy the wrong thing, paste it in there, good. And do our catch, and once again, we need to type exception correctly. I wish it just had the first exception I wanted, right there, except to use the mockery first. Now in here, all we need to do is return a response as well. So we just want to return a error response similar to what we did before. So we just want to have a message, and we want to set that to the exception message. But it's not auto-completing. I wonder why. It's also underlined red here. And that's because I didn't declare it as an array. So let's wrap it in the square braces. Cool, get message. That needs to be a comma. And we can do exception and get code. Okay, so that will be our error response. Looks good. The next thing we need to do is determine what our code does when we don't have anything coming back from the database. So all we need to do is check our post variable. If that's null or if it's false, then we're going to throw an exception. Simple as that. What Laravel does is, or the ORM at least, will return null if it can't find anything. We need to do our exception here. We're going to put our message as cannot find record. I think it's just because we don't have the backslash. And we're going to do 404. It's still underlined. I think the reason for that is we didn't add the new keyword. So let me just add that new keyword. Good. Fine. Cannot find record. That looks good. Let's run our test again. Hopefully this time it should run a lot quicker than before. Yep, it's failed. I was expecting a pass. And I think I know why. We just put the wrong code in here. So this needs to be 404 because that represents we cannot find a record. And we run that again. Good, so we get a passing test. So successful work there. But what I realize is this error response, we've also done it before right here, which is in, I think, the store method. So we may do this again. So what we can do is abstract this or refactor it using our IDE. You can just press Ctrl-Alt-M. Notice that it's found another code fragment. We can replace it. So that's brilliant. It's done everything for us. All we had to do was type the name of the method. You can see that if there's two usages now, one here in our store method, and there should be one in our, I think, show method. Yep. So let's run our entire API test suite to see if our changes didn't break anything. And I noticed these tests are starting to run a little bit slow. And at the beginning, I said I'm going to try and do everything in PHP Storm, but if it's taking too long, we'll have to go back to the terminal for our entire test suite. Looks all good. Good refactoring.